Next time you sit down to eat, consider this. Every calorie on your plate is actually captured sunlight. As animals, we have to roam our environment and consume other living things to survive. Plants do not have that option. They have to build their own food from scratch without ever moving. Because they feed themselves, biologists call them autotrophs, and the method they use to do this is a process called photosynthesis. It is the single biological mechanism that takes the raw, burning radiation of a star and turns it into the physical energy required to sustain life on Earth. To pull this off, a plant gathers three simple, mostly invisible ingredients: water, carbon dioxide from the air, and the energy of sunlight. You can think of it as a chemical factory. The water, the carbon dioxide, and the solar energy go in, and out comes oxygen gas, along with a complex, energy-dense sugar known as glucose. This equation is the literal recipe that builds the foundation of the entire global biosphere. If we magnify the surface of a leaf and dive down into a single plant cell, we can see exactly how this works. Inside these cells are specialized compartments called chloroplasts. This is where the actual machinery of photosynthesis operates. The chloroplast contains a pigment called chlorophyll. When sunlight hits it, the chlorophyll absorbs the energy-dense red and blue wavelengths, but it rejects the green light, which bounces right off. That reflected green light travels to our eyes. The color we most closely associate with nature is actually the one color of light that plants refuse to use. Inside the chloroplast, those absorbed red and blue light waves trigger an intense, violent reaction. This is the first step of photosynthesis, known as the light-dependent reactions. The plant takes a water molecule and uses concentrated solar energy to rip it apart. The leftover oxygen atoms pair up and drift away into the atmosphere as waste. Meanwhile, the harvested energy is packed into a tiny, temporary biological battery called ATP. The plant has successfully caught the sun's energy, but ATP degrades quickly. To survive the night, the plant needs a way to store that energy long-term. This brings us to the second stage, the light-independent reactions. Here, the plant no longer needs direct sunlight because it relies entirely on those freshly charged ATP batteries. Through a looping chemical assembly line known as the Kelvin cycle, the plant inhales carbon dioxide. Those ATP batteries drain their power to stitch the loose carbon atoms together. Once enough atoms are chained, out drops a highly energy-dense sugar molecule, stable glucose. Intangible light and invisible gas have been locked together to create physical matter. This glucose is the ultimate building block. The plant uses it to grow thicker stems, deeper roots, and broader leaves. Animals, however, are heterotrophs. We cannot build our own glucose from sunlight and air. If we want that energy, we have to steal it. This diagram shows exactly how that stolen energy moves through an ecosystem. It starts at the primary producer, the grass, and flows sequentially up the chain as each predator consumes the prey below it, claiming that original plant-built glucose for itself. So every meal is an ancient chain of events. We are consuming the energy of a star, caught by a leaf, and transformed into the matter